When I was a little girl, I would cry and ask God, why am I here? I remember crying more than laughing. I experienced physical, emotional, and verbal abuse that escalated to sexual abuse by the age of 12. We knew better than to talk about what was going on in our home because we had this wrath of something horrible that was going to happen if we shared with anyone what was happening. So we kept quiet. Honestly, as a child, what I went through was bad enough. That fear of the unknown, that what's going to happen if I speak up, if I tell someone, was so huge. And fear of the unknown is what keeps us from speaking up. It's what keeps us from moving forward. And that fear of the unknown certainly kept me quiet. I always longed to be a part of someone else's family, where there was plenty of love and plenty to eat. I would have loved to experience that as a child. But that's not what happened. When I was 15, a woman came and spoke at our school. She talked about her experience with drugs, in and out of jail, prison. Her message was to keep us off drugs. But what I heard was, here was a woman, she was talking about something that was not good choices in her life, something that was not something to be proud of, and she was sharing it with everyone. And I thought, wow, I want to do that. I want to speak to groups, and I want to have an impact on women's lives. But there's no way that I would ever be able to do that. And the reason was because my story, my belief, what I thought to be absolutely true in my life was that I couldn't possibly stand up in front of a group of people and talk about anything. Who would want to listen to me? What would I have to share? What would I even talk about? My story was created and evolved throughout my childhood. Stories are like traditions. It's just something that you do. It's a habit. We just do it automatically. We don't even give it a second thought. So if you're told that you're worthless, you're no good, you'll never amount to anything, that begins to be your story. And as you grow older, all of your choices are based on what you believe your story to be. You know, things like don't speak up, you're always going to have a lack of money, a lack of food, till death do us part. Those stories and more like them really shaped who I was as a child and in young adulthood. When I finally understood where those beliefs were coming from, when I finally understood why I was making the choices that I was on a daily basis, my whole life changed. Because I realized that I have the power to change that story. They're just words. Words that were used over and over and over so freely as a child, directed towards me, that I believe them to be true. Today, I know exactly why I'm on this earth. I know exactly why I'm here. It's to share my story. To let women know you're not alone. Young girls who think that they don't have a say over what happens to their body, or who they marry, or their choices in their life, or their future. Those are stories that we've been told. You do have a choice. It's simply knowing where to go, who to talk to, and how to move away from what you believe your story is. We're taught many things during childhood, and as we grow older, it becomes more and more difficult to understand perception from truth, what you perceive to be the truth versus what is actual truth. But I can tell you this, when you start stepping into your truth, there's fear based around that because you're stepping into the unknown. This is a situation when fear can be your friend. When you are afraid, when you're making decisions and you are afraid down to your boots, stop and ask yourself, why am I so afraid? You're afraid because you are perceiving a specific outcome. So if you can perceive that specific outcome, why can't you just perceive a different outcome? Our minds are so powerful. They have the power to keep us away from what we want, and they have the power to move us towards what we want. It is possible. How do I know? Because I am living proof of this possibility. And this is why I do what I do. I love sharing my story with women's groups, with clients. But my story might not be what you think. It isn't about an abusive childhood. It isn't about where I came from. It isn't about holding grudges. It isn't about saying I can't have or do or be what I want in my life because I came from a specific environment. That's victim mentality. That's victim thinking. And I haven't been a victim for a very, very long time. For every woman who feels she has no voice at work, at home, in her relationships, in social situations, I would like for them to hear my story because I want them to know we have a choice. We have the power to change our life. You change your story, the words change, your story changes, your life changes. Recently, a woman told me that I couldn't possibly get my story out to enough women, that I should join her organization. Well, quite frankly, I believe that I am part of the largest organization there is, the organization of women. Because don't women always want to share something that they've learned that's going to help another woman? We hear about a sale, we call up our friends, we tell them, hey, get over there right now. When we see something that's going to make our life easier, we share it. I would encourage you to please share this video because you never know whose life you're going to impact. Perhaps your life is exactly the way you want it to be. But for all those girls, teenagers, young women, women who are just giving up on life, they can change their story. Their life can change. And if you could do a simple thing by sharing this video, you have touched a life and possibly changed it forever. My name is Nancy Mueller. And I am very, very passionate about encouraging women to improve their health, to value their self, and increase their wealth. When you have financial independence, you make better choices. You're able to say what happens to you in your life. Several years ago, a woman in Africa read my book. She sent me a message on Facebook, and she said, I had no idea that these types of things happened to women outside of our village. And it completely turned her around. It turned her thinking around. Instead of feeling victimized, she realized that this happens at other places. And she started teaching the women in her village in a different way. Ladies, we do have the power to change lives, one woman at a time. My wish for every single woman on this planet is to party like purple. To me, that means that you're having fun, you're loving your life, you wake up every morning looking forward to your day, you feel loved, you feel heard, you feel secure, and you feel safe. That is my wish for you. So please, go out there, party like purple, share this video, and know that you are making a difference in the lives of other women. This is Nancy Mueller saying ciao for now.